afternoon, train fans, and my special train fans, Ellie and Julian. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video. I hope you haven't missed me too much. I just took a little vacation to Spain and Portugal, and I just got back yesterday, and I'm a little tired, but I wanted to put another video out for you folks that are enjoying these train videos. And you know, with all the attention that I've seen recently over the years about Thomas the Tank Engine, and they're certainly well deserved, but I have another engine here that you're looking at, this Neptune 8705, which is also a tank engine. It probably doesn't have the popularity that Thomas certainly has, but it is a useful engine, as Thomas likes to say. And I just thought that perhaps it would be a good idea to feature this little fellow instead of some of the other bigger locomotives that I've talked about. So let's take a close look at Neptune 8705. Neptune 8705 was released by the Lionel Corporation in 1990 as part of a set called the Badlands set. I don't have the original cars from this set, but I do have the locomotive, as you can see. And I was lucky enough to pick up this little fellow at a train show about 2 years ago, sitting on a bargain table for the grand total price of $15. Now, it is a DC locomotive. It was intended to run with a DC power pack. And I don't use the DC power pack. I use the AC transformers for most of the Lionel trains. So in order to get this train to operate without any damage, I was able to do that by putting a bridge rectifier in there that converts the old DC motor so that it can run off of alternating current. The only downside to that is that the locomotive can only run in one direction, and I would prefer, of course, that it run in the forward direction. So that's the way I've wired it up. And it runs quite well, and it pulls very well. And you're going to see that demonstrated in just a few minutes because I've got quite a few cars hooked up behind this little fellow. Let's just take a good close look at the front of the locomotive here. You can see it's got a headlight and a nice chimney, and you can't see it too well, but the number 8 is actually notched into the very front of the steam case there. And you can see that it's a switcher tank engine. Its wheel configuration is 040, and you can see it's got a simulated bell there. It's got a sand dome and a steam dome, and there's the cab where the engineer and the fireman would be working. You can see it's got some nice drive rod detail going on there, and we'll see that moving when the locomotive is in motion. And back here is the fuel supply for the tank engine, which in this case could either be coal or oil. There's not too much detail that you can see there, but if you look very closely at the top of that back section, you can see there's some simulated coal load there. There's no crew inside the cab, but we can imagine maybe perhaps they just went for a little lunch break or something like that, or maybe just to get something to drink. Now, coupled behind the tank engine that I have here is another interesting Lionel car that I have, which I also obtained not too long ago. This is the classic Lionel Burro Crane car. Now, what's unique about the Burro Crane car, besides the fact that obviously it has a crane, as you can see, is that it is a motorized car, which means it can actually run under its own power, if you want, without a locomotive, although it doesn't have a lot of pulling power. It's capable of pulling perhaps 1, maybe 2 cars, as long as they're not too heavy. The other thing that this car is capable of doing is the cab itself can be engaged to rotate a full 360 degrees around. Okay, I can't demonstrate that for you right now, but perhaps in a future video I may do that. It was available in the Santa Fe coloring, I believe in yellow, and also here, as you see, in Pennsylvania Railroad in the Brunswick green color combination. Now, behind this Burro Crane car, I have the classic orange 636255 flat car with 3 additional trucks sitting on top. This car was released by Lionel in 1955 and stayed in production until 1957. So it's a bit older than the two cars or two locomotives that you see in front of it. But it is a very nice car, and it's in nice condition. So let's keep going along here. Now, here's another interesting locomotive, and this locomotive is this switcher. It's going to be providing some additional pulling power for the Neptune 8705. Now, what's interesting about this switcher is that it's the Navy Yard New York 51 shell in light blue, but it's not the Navy Yard 51 switcher. In fact, what it is part of the Pennsylvania Railroad Midnight Shift Set 8900 that was released in 1989. And so I have the Navy Yard 51 shell on the top and the 1989 switcher locomotive, and it was also DC powered below the shell. I also added a bridge rectifier to this locomotive, and so this also can operate only in one direction, which is forward, which is just fine because both this locomotive and the Neptune 8705 are going to both be running in forward direction when I apply the alternating current power to the consist. Now, beyond that, the next car in line here is a Railway Express Agency REX 6299, and this car was released much more recently in 2003 to be precise, and I picked this up at a local train show not too long ago. And the rest of the consist you've probably seen in the previous video is 5 cars from the Wabash set that was released by Lionel in 1986, and it consists of the 7228 REA baggage car, the 7229 combo car, the 7227 dining car, the 7230 coach, and the 7232 observation car at the very end of the consist. So we're going to be watching this consist roll around my 4x8 oval in just a few seconds, and I hope you're enjoying these videos. I enjoy putting them together and doing a little bit of research for you on what you're looking at. And if you are enjoying these videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you again real soon on the Morrisania and Harlem River Railroad. And remember, run your trains.